Is the law of attraction a Christian concept?
So have y'all ever heard of the law of attraction? Law of attraction basically says that your mind is like a magnet. And whatever gets in your mind and stays there, you will attract it in your life. And this works positively and it works negatively.
Well, let's talk about it here at All Things Theology. Cue my theme music.
All things theology, we chop it up properly without an apology. Gotta get that theology to God, hollow, because this is how we do it at All Things Theology.
Yo, grace and peace. Welcome back to an episode of All Things Theology, where this is your host K-Dub, and today we're going to be talking about Terri Savelle. She is the daughter of Terri Savelle, who died, I believe, earlier this year or last year. But I call Terri Savelle the Barbie of the prosperity gospel. You're going to see why in a second if you've never heard of her. Let's get into it, but adjust your ears because she has one of the highest pitched voices I've ever heard in my life. I mean, she knows that, so I'm not making fun of her, but watch this.
Is this crazy? Here I am invited to the White House to actually pray with the vice president. Here I am speaking at Lakewood Church. Every single
Joel
thing
Osteen's
I wrote
church
happened. Is that a coincidence?
Yeah.
Not one bit. Because when the vision is clear, the results will appear.
So, I mean, you got the rhyme down.
No.
And so her whole point is, well, if you write something down, it'll happen. So you make your little vision board and it'll come to true. And a lot of people like to go to Habakkuk, write the vision down, make it plain. That has nothing to do with your little vision board. Okay, you want to write your vision down? You want to write your goals down? Great, cool. I have no problem with that. But just because you write it down doesn't mean it's going to happen. But that's this kind of theology that's going on with her. So see, it's not a coincidence it happened. Well, I'm sure it was more than you just writing it down, right? Obviously.
When the vision is clear, the results will appear. So you've got to get a vision of where you want your life to go, right? Now, you might even say, well, Terri, I really could care less about your life. What about my life, right? Where do I start? Well, let me tell you this example real quick, because this helped me so much to know, like, how do you really get started?
Now, we're about to listen to her example. You think you would go to the pages of scripture to be your foundational example? Watch the person she's going to use. Very interesting.
So a friend of mine had the opportunity to minister to the actor Will Smith. He went to his house in California, and he said when he walked in, he saw this big glass wall with like 150 index cards all over the wall. And he asked him, he said, what is all this? And Will Smith said, that's my next movie I'm working on. He said, those little cards, those are all the different scenes. He said, every good movie has ups and downs and good characters and bad characters and conflict and victory. And he said, I just move these around till I get it the way I want it. And my friend said to him, this looks so confusing. He said, how do you even know where to start? You know what Will Smith said? That's the easy part. He said, you always start with the final scene. You decide how you want it to end, and then you work towards it. Well, see, it's the same with your dreams. You decide, how do you want this year to end?
Boy, ain't no way, boy.
And then you work
Boy, ain't no
towards
way,
it.
boy.
Okay, cool story. But what does that have to do with the Bible's teaching? The Bible does not teach, hey, you just write your vision down and if you write, what does she say? If you write the goals, something, it'll appear. I don't even remember the cheesy line. But, I mean, what does Will Smith have to do with the Bible? I mean, we see his views are totally antithetical to the Bible. That's actually a good example of what not to do if we're talking about the Christian worldview. But she's going to try to give a biblical example. Let me be fair. And it was real bad. Listen.
So my next point is use your imagination. Everything begins in the imagination, right? In fact, y'all remember in the Bible when they were building the Tower of Babel? And these were ungodly people who were trying to build this structure to reach heaven.
Yeah.
And Genesis 11:6, it says, this is just the beginning of what they will do. It says, now nothing they have imagined they can do will be impossible for them. But you have to imagine it.
I'm tired of the church.
Now we're using the people that God tore down in Genesis 11 with the Tower of Babel as proof of using your imagination to accomplish whatever you want to. I mean, I couldn't think of a worse example to use of what not to do. I mean, these people were going against God, and God tore them down. So they didn't do anything they imagined they could do. She doesn't even understand what the passage is actually saying. So imagine using a negative example like Tower of Babel, Sodom and Gomorrah as proof of something positive you can do. It's just quite strange you would go to that. But she's got a little more to say. She got some more imagination. Let's hear about this imagination. It's just my imagination. These are not theological songs, by the way, but let Terri tell it. Anyways, let's keep listening.
So what can you imagine?
I know, by the way, she is coming from the Habakkuk text about write the vision down. That is 90% of her content I've ever heard her talk about is Habakkuk 2:2-4, which she clearly doesn't understand. It's not about writing your goals down. It's about the law of God.
Can you imagine logging into your bank account and seeing $10,000 in your savings that you don't even need? It's just emergency money that's building up. Can you imagine driving your dream car? Can you imagine pulling up to the house you desire? You push the garage, and it goes up, and you drive in.
I mean, this is the gospel of the American dream. American dream is fine, right? Pursue the quality things, but it makes a terrible gospel, and that's what's being preached here.
Can you imagine it? Can you imagine walking across the stage to get your degree or your diploma? Can you imagine walking down the aisle getting married? Can you imagine stepping on a scale and liking the number you see? I like that one, don't you? So you got to see it on the inside before it ever shows up on the outside.
Girl, there's more practical ways to losing weight. But again, the whole theology is here. If you can think it, if you can believe it, you can achieve it. And the Bible is not teaching any of these things. This is why she has to go to passages about Tower of Babel to try to talk about how you need to use your imagination. Now, of course, there's some truth in this where before you can, a plan can be achieved, it has to be well thought of. But that's not even what she's talking about. She's talking, if it enters your mind, it's going to come about. Enter your mind, you write it down, it's going to de facto happen. That's not what the Bible's teaching. This is New Age. And speaking of New Age, listen to this.
Remember what I said? You become what you behold. When the vision is clear, the results will appear. Well, after you look at this for a few months, I'm not just cracking up every time I see it. Yeah. And then a few more months go by, actually kind of looks like a real picture.
Notice, so you write this down, you have this picture. You're not doing any work to accomplish it, right? You're just writing it down, having the picture, and it's going to become more achievable by the fact that you did that.
A few more months go by, you forget that it's a fake picture. Yeah. You become what you behold. Here's a fake picture. Here's a real picture of me speaking. Can you see that? And last October, I had the honor of speaking to 20,000 entrepreneurs in the Dome in St. Louis. And it was a success conference, a business conference. Well, the last day of the event, they said, Terri, we just feel like you're supposed to do an altar call. I was like, what? To 20,000 businessmen and women. So I went up there and gave an altar call. Over 2,000 came to the stage. Is that amazing? But it's not a coincidence, is it? When the vision is clear, the results will appear. So let me give you this little secret to success too.
Listen to this.
They say that one of the biggest reasons goals go unachieved is because they're out of sight. We put them in a desk drawer, we put them in a nightstand, we put them on a flash drive, we never look at them again. You remember that old phrase, out of sight, out of mind? It really is true. They say keep your goals out of reach, but never out of sight. Okay? So have y'all ever heard of the law of attraction? Well, I just happen to have some magnets.
Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy.
The law of attraction is not a Christian biblical ideology. The law of attraction stems from movements like Christian thought. And don't be confused by the name. Christian thought is not a distinct, or let me actually put in its more distinct name, New Thought. Some Christians try to Christianize New Thought. New Thought, New Age, Christian Science movements. These are not Christian ideology, the law of attraction. The Bible does not teach about the law of attraction. Like, hey, if you, well, we're going to hear her explain it. Listen to this example.
Let me illustrate this. So the law of attraction, they teach that in business. The law of attraction basically says that your mind is like a magnet. And whatever gets in your mind and stays there, you will attract it in your life.
Yeah, and the Bible doesn't teach that. The Bible doesn't say, hey, if you think of a new home, a new Bugatti, well, it's just going to be attracted to you, and eventually it's going to happen and meet. There are some things you can think as great of, but will never happen. What about the will of God? What about the providence of God? All these things are thrown out, and we are the accomplishers of our destinies, really. No, the Bible does not teach that.
And this works positively and it works negatively. For example, if you're constantly thinking nobody likes you, guess what you're going to attract? Nobody.
What if nobody actually likes you? So even if the thing is true negatively, you can't even think about it. So you can actually have cancer. That's a negative thought, right? Cancer is not positive, right? It's negative. You can't think about, oh, I actually have cancer, because then that's going to make the cancer more of a reality, an actuality, or even worse. No, if you're sick, it's okay to think about the sickness you have and what you need to do to possibly resolve this, or to ask for prayer for this. The Bible doesn't teach these things, what she's actually talking about.
Liking you. If you're constantly thinking you'll be broke for the rest of your life, guess what you're going to attract? Poverty and lack. But the opposite is true. If you're constantly thinking the favor of God is going before me, it's opening doors in my life, you're going to walk to it like a magnet, right?
Now, I want you to see how clearly New Thought, law of attraction, has entered into the prosperity gospel. But I'm very glad she said this, because it shows how much prosperity gospel is rooted in pagan concepts and not the Bible. Yeah. She is teaching law of attraction. But law of attraction is not biblical. This is why she doesn't have a text to stand on. She just has worldly examples she wants to give. Again, we have to think about the will of God. Where's the will of God in all this?
In fact, did you know it's been proven that people who come to America from other nations are 3 to 4 times more likely to become millionaires than those of us who are born here?
Does it have anything to do with the thought process, in the sense of just thinking positive thoughts, or they're in a better economy with better opportunities, better advantages? Because they're probably leaving a country worse off economically and coming to a more thriving economy. I'm thinking that's actually what it has to do with. Not that these people are imbibing law of attraction. I mean, they may, but even that doesn't have to do with anything. It has to do with you being in a better economy with better opportunities, better advantages. Yeah.
You know why? Because they have it so programmed in their mind that America is a land of opportunity. It's a place where dreams come true. If I could just get to America, I know I'll be a millionaire. They get here and they walk right to it like a magnet. It's amazing, isn't it? Well, the law of attraction basically is Proverbs 23:7. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So does he become.
This is what she has to say basically, because it's actually not teaching that. This isn't teaching, hey, whatever you think in your mind, that's what that's what you can accomplish. So if you come from a third world country, oh, I'll be a millionaire if I come there, then it'll happen. No, there's work that's put in. It actually has much more to do with the work than the thought. The thoughts aren't what accomplishes things. It's the actions that's carried forth.
Right? So what you think about, you bring about. So that's why you have to look at your dreams consistently, because what you think about, you bring about. Does that make sense?
No, because it's not biblical. Again, Jesus thought about not in his earthly ministry, thought about not dying on the cross, but really submitted himself to the will of God. I'm sure the Apostle Paul thought about escaping prison. I'm sure he thought about being with the brothers, but still he was imprisoned. I mean, there's so many biblical examples you can give to show, hey, there was men who thought something and then something else happened, right? I'm sure you, hey, leave them in the comment section. One more. Let's talk about it here. Cause then this is the positive speech. You can speak anything into existence kind of thing. Let's listen to this.
Seriously, when you're speaking negative words, you are trapping yourself into the very thing you don't want. So when you're saying stuff like nothing good ever happens to me, you just trapped yourself into nothing good happening. When you're saying stuff like no matter what I do, I can't lose weight, you just trapped yourself into never losing weight. At this rate, we'll be in debt forever. You just trapped yourself into being in debt forever.
I don't know if you can see her. She has the mousetrap. So if you say things like, hey, nothing I ever do ever works. Well, now that's actually what will trap you. Mousetrap. And now you're kind of stuck and nothing actually will. So, I mean, you get in your car, the car going to break down. You walk across the street, you get hit. Get the kids up, they smack you in the face. I mean, nothing will literally work out now because you spoke those words into existence. And now, once you speak it, it's stuck in the air. Now you got to speak something positive. This is not Christian. This is not Christian. These are concepts that are pagan. That's what they thought about the gods, right? Things like that. Watch what you say. I mean, yeah, you do need to watch what you say, but it's not because it's going to effectuate. It's because what we say actually matters. Yeah, don't be cussing people out. Don't be saying things that are false, right? But you can say, hey, look, man, I've always been fat. That's not actuating anything. Maybe a reality. I don't know. Again, it depends on who's saying it, right?
So here's something I learned. This will help you so much. To help you identify if what you're saying is helping you or hurting you, practice making this statement after every phrase. And that's just the way I want it. No matter what I do, can't lose weight, and that's just the way I want it. I guess I'll be the last one to get married, and that's just the way I want it. I guess we'll never have a baby, and that's just the way I want it. If it's not the way you want it, don't let it come out of your mouth, right?
I mean, the Bible tells us to speak things that are true, that are loving, that are even to think pure thoughts, positive thoughts, or pure thoughts. But we can speak things that are true. Right? It's okay to speak about the negative things that are happening. I mean, go read the Psalms. Go read David. Apparently, she would have to critique David. Critique Paul. Oh, you're not a wretched man. Your heart's fine, David. Is that the way you want it? It's okay to speak real things that are about yourselves. Again, we need to reject this law of attraction that has seeped into Christianity. Maybe we can do some more videos here coming up.
Yo, thank you for watching another video. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Let's talk about it below. As always, like this video, subscribe to the channel if you're not, and as always, till the next time, grace and peace.